Nelson set to leave Arsenal. Thomas Partey on his way to Saudi Arabia. Zubimendi links are back. And Lunin, the Real Madrid #2 goalkeeper, linked with Arsenal. That's what we're going to be talking about today. The transfer window has officially opened, guys. It seems weird that I'm wearing England shirts now, but this is, of course, the legendary Euro World Cup 90, sorry, I should say. The 1-9. It has to be the Gascoigne England shirt that I'm repping today out in sunny Spain. Go home tomorrow evening, enjoy myself out here, but of course wanting to try and provide as much as I can in terms of daily content for you guys. So let's talk a little bit about the transfer news today. Before we do that, make sure you hit the like button, make sure that you subscribe. The views and the numbers are growing, people, and it's all thanks to you lot, so thank you so much for that. And that allows the community to grow and also the channel to get recognized and understand the likes and subscribes and how important they are. I never used to really push it. Maybe I should have. Maybe I'd be on more than I am now. But I hit 20k now, and I really kind of want to get the bug now to hit 30k as quickly as we can. So let's make sure that we're doing that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to talk all Arsenal today. Let's talk a little bit, first of all, about Reiss Nelson. Now, Reiss Nelson, it has been reported by David Ornstein not too long ago that he has spoken to Arsenal and said that he would like to consider a move away from the club. Now, I think it's only fair. It's first team football that's important at the age of him, which I think he is about 23, 24 years old. He's not a player that's managed to get in the first team at Arsenal. I don't think he's actually been treated massively fair by Mikel Arteta in some of the opportunities. I think there's other players that have managed to get more game time than him, such as Fabio Vieira. Not that I think that's really been deserved. I also look at Eddie Nketiah and his career at Arsenal. I think he's had a better career in terms of opportunities under Mikel Arteta than Reiss Nelson has. And I have to say that Reiss Nelson has actually delivered a couple of really good moments at Arsenal. One, of course, the most famous of last year in the last kick of the game against Bournemouth at home, winning 3-2. That was all down to him. I think we also have to thank Reiss Nelson for a couple of goals that he scored against Nottingham Forest. And I think Reiss Nelson has actually contributed well when he come on the previous season just gone, where he actually, although didn't score loads of goals, come on and look really sharp. And I don't really understand why he didn't deserve more of a start or more of an opportunity to come on. I've always been a fan of Reiss because he's a massive gooner, but I've never thought that he could take us to the next level. I've never really believed that the manager has ever had full trust in Reiss Nelson. So I can understand why he's approached the management team and suggested that a move away might be the best thing for him. Now, the clubs that are apparently reported to be interested in him are Crystal Palace, who at the moment are keeping hold of Elise and Eze, but for how long we don't know. Fulham are a team that are interested. Also, it looks like Nottingham Forest have said that they would be interested in him. A team that, let's be real, with Hudson-Odoi and with Morgan Gibbs-White and with Elanga, you'd think maybe they've got enough quality there in the team already, so that would be a strange one for me. West Ham are apparently interested. I know they don't really have a left winger, West Ham, at the moment. With Benrahma and Fornals leaving, Paqueta looks to be getting a lengthy ban. That could be a good move for Reiss Nelson, to be fair, on the other side of Kudus, and I think would be probably guaranteed first team football in that side. I think would actually be pretty good. Arsenal, David Ornstein says, are looking for £20 million for Reiss Nelson, which at 24 years old is actually quite a good piece of business. I don't look at that piece of business. I think that's massively over the top. I also think it would be quite a good signing, and I think it would be good for all parties involved. Somebody's getting a very good, young, talented, high prospect player, but it's also what they're getting is a little bit of experience at the age of 24 that has been in and around teams, Feyenoord, Hoffenheim, loan spells. And I think as well with Reiss Nelson, he's always the sort of attitude that gives 110%. He's got the same attitude that Alex Iwobi and Danny Welbeck had at Arsenal, where they'll just go on and deliver and give 110%. They might not be of the quality that you need, but certainly for any of those clubs mentioned, I think he'd be a very good signing. West Ham, Fulham, Palace and Nottingham Forest, all apparently suitors for the signing of Reiss Nelson. So it looks like Reiss is going to go, and I think it's a player that needs to go. I think we definitely then need somebody to come in and actually try to compete with the Saka position, and it definitely give him a little bit of cover, because Reiss Nelson was the only player that was seen as that and just wasn't used. So we need to try to utilise that. Saka can't play 40 to 50 games every season. It's going to kill him. So we need somebody to come in for, say, 15 to 20 games to actually give Saka some break and rest. If that's going to be Gabriel Jesus, fair play, and we go and get a 9. If it's not going to be that, and we need to go and get a striker and a winger, then Saka definitely needs that, because for me, he can't keep playing the amount of games that he is. So that's Reiss Nelson. Let's move on to Thomas Partey. Now, Thomas Partey is a player that at 30 years old, people would say is probably at the best of his game. The problem with Thomas Partey is, although he's one of our best when he's fit, the latter is a problem for him. He has not been fit at Arsenal. For the best part of the 3-4 years he's been here, he's had problems. And it's strange because at Atletico Madrid he didn't really have any. But he's come into the Premier League and he's struggled to keep fit. And I think he's a player that when plays, we take our game to a next level. I think he drives our midfield forward. I think he anchors the midfield fantastically well. I think he complements the performances of in the past Granit Xhaka and Ødegaard, and this season certainly where they did play together Declan Rice. It allows Declan Rice to bomb forward. The problem with Partey is he is not reliable. He is one of those players that I've spoken about before that is a Rolls Royce that you keep in your garage and you literally take for a blast at the weekend. He is not the Ferrari you go and show off every weekend now. And I think, unfortunately, Thomas Partey is in that position where he's got to look at his options himself and think, I'm probably going to play 25 games next season for Arsenal. Should I go and earn some money and make a move somewhere? And if Saudi Arabia are going to offer him something silly between 400 to 600k a week, and 25 million has been reported, do we keep Thomas Partey for his last year of his contract and let him go on a free? Or do we cash in now and try to upgrade? And with £25 million on the table, I think that's the bare minimum that I'd want to try and get for Thomas Partey. Because at 30 years old, if you can keep him fit, you've got a phenomenal talent there. Now, he's probably not going to show most of that over in Saudi Arabia because it doesn't look like most people go over there to compete at the highest level. It's obviously a different lifestyle and money that grabs their attention. But for Thomas Partey, he's kind of done all of that. He's played Champions League football at 2 or 3 clubs. He's gone and played at the highest level at Atletico Madrid to win trophies there. Won a trophy with Arsenal. As well. Oh, did he? Or did we not? Actually, no, he didn't, did he? Did he win that FA Cup? No, I think we bought him the summer after, actually, so scrap that. But Thomas Partey, for me, is a player that I think we will potentially miss, or I say potentially miss because you'd like to think someone will be coming in, but I don't think it's a position we can look at and underappreciate how good Thomas Partey is. And I think the players we've got to be attracting have got to be that level now. It's got to be somebody in there that you go, whoa, boom, fair play. Partey, it's been a pleasure, but this is the new regime now. And if those players come in and it is the equivalent of, let's say, Andre Onana, and I'm just trying to think of somebody now that would come in potentially, and I don't know, that we might look at. I don't know that's going to be the level of Thomas Partey. But there are links again, and the links are to Martin Zubimendi. Now, I've seen today reports literally just now that we are looking at Martin Zubimendi and have been for quite some time. In the January transfer window, there was a lot of rumours that we were pretty much agreeing a release clause fee of 50 million for Zubimendi to come in and be that number 6 at Arsenal. Now, that to me suggests that if Partey's going, Jorginho is staying, then Martin Zubimendi may come in and be that 6 to allow Rice to go forward into the 8 and then Ødegaard to do his thing in the attacking 10. The problem I've got with that is Zubimendi a great replacement for Thomas Partey? I don't know enough about him. I think he looks a lot more deep-lying. He also does not have the physical attributes of Thomas Partey, although he can read a game and he has got good passing range. But so has Jorginho. I think it looks more similar to Jorginho than Thomas Partey. Now, he's obviously going to be fitter than Jorginho, younger than Jorginho, have a bit of potential than Jorginho. I don't think Zubimendi is like 29. I don't think he's 21. I don't know how old he is. I think he's 23, 24. So he's not a player that you look at to think, wow, it's one for the future, but he certainly wants to be ready now. I think at Real Sociedad, they look at him and they like him a lot. Arteta likes him a lot. And then I don't know why, but I've always had in the back of my mind that if we don't get a Bruno Gomes or a Frankie de Jong, that we might actually look for a 6 and an 8 that could be combined for that price. And that's where I'm thinking we're going over the last couple of days. With the links to Youssouf Fofana, who's a box-to-box midfielder, and the links to Martin Zubimendi, who's a number 6 midfielder, it looks to me as if Jorginho and Zubimendi might be the 6s and Rice and Fofana might be the 8s. And that could be the way that Arteta's thinking. And we certainly need 2 midfielders if Partey goes, because we've got to remember that El Neni and Partey no longer are there, and that means we need 2. Jorginho and Rice are the only 2. So our midfield could be completely revamped and look like it might need a little bit of surgery. Are we going to go for that one massive signing, or are we going to just go for 2 that we think are going to be really important to the side moving forward? And I think potentially that's where Arteta and Edu are looking at the moment, if you relieve all the rumours and who we're heavily linked with. And we're not rumoured to be heavily linked with either Fofana or Zubimendi, but in the back of my mind I'm thinking maybe that would make sense, that we've got 2 box-to-box midfielders in Youssouf Fofana to back up Rice, and 2 number 6s with Zubimendi with Jorginho to back up. And then we've got Ødegaard in the attacking role. So maybe that's what we're thinking. Maybe that's what we're looking at. It's going to be really interesting, to be honest, to see where our heads are at with this one. And then, of course, we have the links to the goalkeeping situation. Now, I don't know much about Andrei Lunin at all. I know he's the Ukrainian goalkeeper that Zinchenko speaks very highly about. There's a lot of rumours suggesting that Zinchenko's been having a word with him, which would also suggest that Zinchenko might not be going anywhere, as people may think. I know Vincent Kompany's been linked with him from Bayern Munich as one of his first signings, seeing as he knows him from Man City. But it certainly doesn't look to me that Zinchenko's going anywhere right now. But there is rumours with there is links, with Lunin. Now, I would love to go and get a Diogo Costa, a Jan Oblak, or a Michael Maignan, and have Raya as the number 2. But we've got to remember that Raya hasn't even been signed yet for Arsenal, and he probably will be, and he probably will be the number 1. Now, is Lunin going to want to sit on the bench at Real Madrid and then come to sit on the bench at Arsenal? I find that really hard to believe. If he wants to go and get first team football, I'd understand that. And is he going to come there at Arsenal with first team? I don't know. Maybe he sees in his mind that he'll be able to compete with David Raya. Maybe he's looked at the Aaron Ramsdale situation and said, well, at least at Arsenal, they actually do compete for the number 1 position in the shirt. I don't know. But he's not going to get ahead of Thibaut Courtois, that's for sure. Is he going to get ahead of David Raya? I haven't seen enough of him to suggest that I know enough about how good he is in goal. I also don't look at his age and think, wow, he's an experienced goalkeeper that's coming in, So this one's going to be interesting for me. I also believe as well where we have the potential to look at some of Raya's attributes that I like and some of them that I don't. I'd like to get somebody in that is absolutely 100% going to be the number 1. And that's why I think we need to upgrade on Raya, not go and get a backup behind him. Now, Aaron Ramsdale is going to get us some money. Kieran Tierney and Tavares are looking to get us some money. Lokonga, Nelson today coming out. Partey today coming out. Links to Eddie and Nketiah are with a move away as well. We're looking at all those players. We're probably not going to get any more than around 100 to 130 million for those all in where they're being sold, because we're not really going to get much money of them. Maybe 25 million here, 20 million here, maybe 30 tops. That sounds like a lot of money, 130 million, but actually we're getting rid of a hell of a lot of players for that money. So it's not like we're selling them for £200 or £300 where they're going for 50 million a pop. Unfortunately, we don't have the quality and the depth to get anywhere near that money. So for me, if we get the 200 million that's rumoured, you go and spend that on the priority areas, and that of course is the midfield and up top. And then you look to go and get a wide player, then you look to go and get a defender, then you look to go and get a goalkeeper. And that's why I think the links to Lunin, I think the links to Kirkes, I think the links to Yorhato are all links that I understand. Bakayoko was linked the other day on right wing over at PSV, because I think they know that they're not going to be able to go and get the likes of Elise or Pedro Neto or Diamande or Diogo Costa as I would like, because I don't know that they've got that money. I think that money is going to potentially go on a player like Osimhen or a player like Frankie de Jong or a player like Bruno Guimaraes. Now, if it doesn't, and we look to go and get Fofana and Zubimendi, then maybe 100% we would get a winger that's like Elise or Pedro Neto and a striker that's like Osimhen. I just don't know where our heads are at the moment. Literally, the window's open today, guys. So we've got to be realistic about that, that's for sure. We're going to leave it there, people. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. Euro starts tonight. I'm going to give some updates on that as well. But we'll see you next time. Take it easy and up the Arsenal. Laters.